Good morning, students. Today we are ready with the second part of the lesson, improvement in our food resources. Students, before going to the content of this lesson, I just want to recall what we have learned in the previous class. Students, we have learned what is food, what are the nutrients which are present in food like carbohydrate, protein, fat, vitamin and minerals. Then we have learned what is the role played by food in the body of living organisms. We have also learned the roles of different revolutions like green, blue, yellow and white in the production of food in our country. So students, you all know the type of crops which are grown in India. But if I ask you categorize the crops into different categories, then it is possible that some of you may get the answer, but there is a little confusion that you will feel. So students, today in this class, we will learn about the different types of crops and the conditions needed by the different types of crops, the season in which they are grown. So students, we have all the crops which are grown all over the world. They are basically categorized into 5 different types. So we'll see what are the types of crops. The first one is cereals, second is pulses, then the third one oilseed, and the fourth one is vegetable spices and fruits, and the fifth one is the fodder. So let us see what is the meaning of these type of crops, what are the examples of these crops. So the first one, that is cereals. Cereals are the grains. So all the grains which basically give us carbohydrate are classified as cereals. The examples of cereals, the common examples of cereals that we use in our daily life are wheat, rice, maize, millets and sorghum. Sorghum is the bajra, okay, and wheat you well know, rice, maize you know, millets are the small grains which can be from a grass. So these foods are consumed and the basic nutrient that the cereals provide is carbohydrate. So basically this type of crop is energy giving food. Then we come to the second category. The next category is pulses. Pulses provide you protein. See students, all the dal that we make in our home, all the dal, the beans, they all come under the category of pulses. It means that pulses are basically the type of food. Which type of food? They are bodybuilding food, because they help in making the cells, the tissues, and they are involved because proteins are involved all over the body in various types of reaction and the process of maintenance and repair also. So we'll see what are the examples of pulses. Like gram. Gram means chana. Then pea means matar in Hindi. Then black gram, kali urad, green gram, moong ki dal. Then pigeon pea, that is your arhar ki dal. So all the dals, they come under which category? They come under pulses, and the basic role, the basic nutrient in this is protein. Next we'll come to the third category, that is oil seeds. See, as the name suggests, oil seeds, it means if you crush the seeds of this particular crop, then they will give oil from them. So we daily use some edible oils while making our food, like mustard oil, soya bean oil, til oil and many more. So we'll see what are the examples of oil seeds. The example of oil seeds are soya bean, we use normally in our home. Then groundnut oil is moongfali ka tel. Then sesame oil is til ka tel. Till you well know that it is used for making laddu, okay, which is consumed during Makar Sankranti in India. Then castor oil. Castor oil is used in medicines also, and it is used in vehicles also. Then the mustard oil, we have plentiful of mustard oil in India. Mustard oil is sarson ka teel. Okay, so what is the basic nutrient which is present in the oil seed? And the basic nutrient which is present in the oil seed is fats. And fat is classified as which type of food? Yes, it is energy giving food. So it basically provides you energy. But if fats are taken in excess in the body, they get deposit in the body, and they may cause many types of health related issues like diabetes, like obesity. Then we'll come to the fourth type of the crop, that is vegetables, spices and fruits. Vegetables, spices and fruits, they are a very good type of crop which provides you variety of vitamin and minerals. And vitamin and minerals are needed in traces in a limited quantity, but we need them daily in our diet because they have some specific and special role in our body. They prevent us from deficiency diseases. At the same time, they also increase the immunity of our body. The next and the fifth category of crop is the fodder crop. See students, fodder crops are the crops which are generally grown for the domesticated animals like cow, buffalo, goat, sheep, horses and all such animals that we rear and that we take care of, because these are directly or indirectly related to agriculture under the field of animal husbandry, and we use these animals for getting the products for our benefit. So these domesticated animals are to be feeded, and they are feeded with certain types of crops which are known as fodder crops. So let us see what are the examples of fodder crops. Barsi, oats and Sugandha. They are basically oats, you well know, and these are certain type of grasses or the leafy plants which provide nutrition to the domestic animals or the animals that we use in our agricultural land or we have involved in animal husbandry. So students, you have seen we have 5 different types of crops. Cereals, they provide carbohydrate. Then we have pulses which provide protein. Then we have oilseeds, they provide fat. Then we have vegetables, spices and fruits which provide us different types of varieties of vitamin and minerals. And the 5th type of crop is the fodder crop, which is for the animals. So students, these crops need actually different types of conditions to grow. The crop which is grown in cold places cannot be grown in the hot places. Why? Because different crops need different climatic conditions. They need different temperature, they need different moisture, and they also need the different length of sunlight. So we'll see what are the conditions which are needed by the crops. The conditions which are required by the crops to grow are climatic conditions, then temperature, then photoperiod. See, climatic conditions are the conditions which directly influence the growth of a crop. A crop may be a winter crop, a crop may be a summer crop. It may require more light, it may require less light. Then temperature. Temperature is the heat, means every crop needs different amount of heat. Some crops grow in low temperature, whereas the other crops grow in high temperature. Then in climatic conditions involve moisture, the amount of moisture which is present in a particular area. Then we have the third condition which is needed by the plant is photoperiod. Photoperiod, as the name suggests, photo means light and period is the duration. So the amount of light which is required by the plant for its growth. Basically, photoperiod refers to the duration of sunlight received by a plant for its flowering, fruiting and its proper growth. Different plants receive different length of day and night light. For example, the crops which are grown in summer, they receive more length of daylight and less length of night light. But the crops which are grown in winter, they receive less amount of daylight and more amount of night light. So both day length of light and night length of light are required for flowering of the crops, and then only they will produce the fruits which are required by us. So students, we have seen the three conditions which are required for the growth of plant. One is the climatic condition, which can involve moisture, presence of humidity and moisture, then temperature, and the third one is photoperiod. Depending on the condition which is required by a crop to properly grow, we basically have 2 seasons in India. There can be 3 seasons, but India normally follows 2 seasons. We'll see what are the names of the 2 seasons. One is the Kharif season and the second one is known as Rabi season. Kharif season is normally the rainy season, which is from June to October. So during this period of time, normally India receives heavy rains. So these crops need more amount of water for them. So the example of Kharif crop or the crops which are grown during rainy season are paddy, soybean, pigeon pea, maize, black gram, green gram. Let us see what is the name of the other crop, other season for the crop. The other season which is followed in India is the Rabi season. See, Rabi season is in India is observed from November to April. It means the winter crop, means they are sown in winter, and as the summer starts, they are harvested. It involves wheat, gram, pea, mustard and linseed. You must have seen that pea or mutton, the mustard or sarso, they come, normally they come or they are, we bring them from the market during the winter season. So friends, we have 2 seasons, Kharif and Rabi season. Kharif is the rainy season, that is from June to October, and Rabi is from November to April. Students, if we see whether we have increased our crop production, then we'll see definitely, if we'll see the graph, then we'll see definitely we have improved our crop production. If we see certain years back, and if we see the crop production and the graph of crop production, we'll see that from 1960 to 2004, we have increased our crop production up to 4 times, and at the same time we have increased our agricultural land only up to 25%. So is that surprise? Yes, because this is the hard work of our farmers, and they have incorporated certain scientific knowledge to improve the crop production. So students, today we are going to learn some of the activities, group of activities which are involved for crop production. So all the group of activities which are necessary for increased crop production are basically divided into 3 group of activities. The first one is crop variety improvement. This is in this we use a improved quality of seed, which gives a high yield, which has a high resistance to disease, which takes takes less amount of water and which can remain in a good condition under harsh environmental conditions, or which type of seed that can be grown in a diverse condition. So the next one is crop production improvement. Once the seed changes into seedling and crops come out of it, it is necessary for the farmers to add nutrients to it. So we have improved the quality of nutrient and fertilizers available. How much nutrient is to be added, at what time it should be added. So this all knowledge comes under, will get this knowledge under crop production improvement. Then the third one is crop protection management. When the crops are in the field, they are being attacked by a variety of microorganisms and insects. So they have to be protected. So we have been using different types of homemade chemicals and chemicals which are made in the factory for controlling these types of organisms so that we have a higher yield. So today let us start with crop variety improvement. So how can we improve a variety of crop? It means first we have to select that seed which gives a high yield, which has a high resistance to different types of disease, which takes less water and which can undergo stress conditions of environment. So to select that type of seed, we undergo certain scientific methods, and we have basically two scientific methods for incorporating or for putting desirable characters that we want in the seed. The first one is known as hybridization and the second one is known as genetic modification. So in today's class we will learn about hybridization, and genetic modification we will learn in the next class. So what we do in hybridization? It is a process in which there is a crossing between genetically dissimilar plants to produce a new plant. So two plants are selected which are genetically different from each other, and they are combined together to form a new plant which will have a combined characters of both plants. And the new plant which is produced by this method is known as a hybrid plant. So we'll see how this, we'll take an example to see how this can be done. Suppose, for example, if we take a plant P1 which is genetically different from plant P2, and suppose if we take a wheat variety, in one type of the P1 crop of wheat, it gives a high production within the same piece of land, and we have selected the P2 plant of wheat which is resistant, which has the character of resistance to disease, means it can undergo, means different types of pathogens cannot easily attack on that type of crop. Now we want to have a crop, a desirable crop which has a combined character of both the plants, both the varieties of wheat. Means if we want a new plant which is high yielding also and which possesses the property of disease resistance, then what to do? We'll take both the plants in the same field, and what we'll do? We will do pollination. It means we'll collect pollen grains from one of the two plants and will allow the pollen grain to settle on the stigma of the P2 plant or the other plant. Means pollen grain is taken from one plant and it is dispersed on the stigma of the second plant. So what will happen? If there will be pollination, and as a result, when the new plant produced, when the seed of that particular plant will grow, it will produce the plant which will have a mixed character of both the plants. Means the new plant, which is also known as a hybrid plant, will produce high heat and at the same time it will possess the property of disease resistance. So by this method we produce good quality of seed and we incorporate desirable characters into the seed. How this can be done? Hybridization is basically done by three methods: intervarietal, interspecific hybridization and intergeneric hybridization. Students, intervarietal hybridization means we cross that varieties of the plant which are we cross two varieties of plant which are genetically different and we take two different varieties of the plant in this. The next one is interspecific. It means we take two different plants and the two different plants, they should be of different species but of the same genus. Genus, species, these words you will learn in the lesson diversity. Genus is the group of plant which share the similar properties. So, but will take the same type of plant, but the species too should be different. Then the third one is intergeneric. This type of hybridization which is between two different genera. So, student, by this method we can do the process of hybridization. So, student, let us have a recap what we have learned. First, we have learned that we have different varieties of crop. Then we have learned what are the climatic conditions, what are the conditions which are required by crop to produce fruit and flower. Then we have read what are the two seasons in India that the farmers follow, and at last we have read about the major group of activities and today we have learned the crop variety improvement, and under this we have learned the first method of crop variety improvement, that is hybridization, which is the crossing between genetically similar plants to produce a new plant, and the new plant produced is known as hybrid. So students, will continue with our lecture, will continue this lesson with our lecture in the next lecture, and students, in the next lecture we'll learn about genetic modification, how this is helpful to incorporate certain characters, certain desirable characters in the seeds. Thank you, students.